like we all do. So it's all part of what helps us to keep going, keep carrying on. And even in a world that's just such a pile of crap, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's shot, and it still hasn't stopped. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't want this train to stop. They want this train of crony capitalism, which is essentially economic fascism. The government's involved, conspiring against the best interests of the people. It's horrible. Not everybody in government. Yeah, I could say government, but it's a broad brush because a lot of good people working up, they don't want this going this direction. I know that. I'm blaming mostly, primarily, it starts with the high-ranking politicians. These are the ones that greenlight everything. They illegitimately legitimize the theft of the wealth of our nation. Okay, that's what they did in '08. And we need to go back in time that far to have this market correction where your currency goes up in worth. So nobody should be threatened by that. Nobody. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to take from anybody. I don't. The Robin Hood thing doesn't work. I mean, it's enticing. I can understand why so many people think it. It sounds like a good idea. Take from the haves to give to the have-nots. Sounds pretty virtuous to me on the surface. But not if the have don't want to give, then it becomes theft, and that's wrong. That's immoral. That's unethical. That's ungodly. That's unholy. And so I'm staunchly opposed to that kind of fascist, communist, socialism, whatever you want to call it. I'm not the guy, I'm not taking nothing from nobody. I'm just giving more to everybody. Okay, that's my attitude. Okay, and I have trust that Trump still, he's got that attitude too. He understands that the system doesn't break down. If you set everybody free, that means universal prosperity, which is what Colonel Anthony Schaefer himself said. I mean, I was amazed to hear it come out of his lips. Okay, he's not the kind of guy I would have expected it. Just because of his position, but just here there's equality. But he knows the Constitution. Our Constitution is based on these principles and precepts, these values of equality. So how do we achieve a state where we're all equally free? You see, that's where you have to understand prosperity. So it's not so much about money, it's just a sense of freedom, a sense of prosperity. Okay, and it doesn't have to have anything to do with money. And this is what we've got to remember, because at the end of the day, it won't have. When Jesus takes over the affairs of men, when Jesus rules this world, we are going to be getting along without money. It's as simple as that. So put that in your pipe and smoke it and figure out how it's going to work, because it's not beyond our imagination to imagine a world like that. It's a beautiful thing. I think we all have a right and a duty, in fact, to spend time using our God-given power of thought and imagination to dream, to ponder fanciful things, idealistic things. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to strive to be happier, to be more content, more joyous, more free, and explore how we can get there. But yeah, I could easily see myself being a lot more productive just because of my attitude. I think my health would improve. It'd just be a better world. I mean, going to work with a bounce in my step and a song on my lips, enjoying my heart, being free as a free man, knowing I could be doing anything at any time. But I'm pitching in, man, and we're all pitching in, and it becomes easy, just like children playing. One big fat playground called planet Earth, doing whatever we want, exploring the heavens. Okay, building artificial reefs and having clean, infinite energy at our fingertips. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we could have even now, even without the renewal of all things and all this stuff that's coming in the new age and the return of Jesus and all that. But even right now, we could have incredible innovations. I see I've got about 5 minutes left on my tape. Well, I'm kind of wondering if I've exhausted this for now. I probably have. I mean, I will pretty much cover the same stuff week after week because I just think it's important stuff. And the reason is because I'm not hearing it out there, okay? And albeit I say I was Alex Jones inspired, that's true. He really got me to feel like, I'm just going to start talking. I'm just going to start saying what's on my mind. And I realized that I really was important. And over the years, I don't see enough people talking the way I do. If I did, if I heard, I'd like to shut up. I'd like to stop doing this video series, really, in all honesty. I would. But I've got to wait until I see people with a megaphone and with the high platform out there, media platform, like InfoWars has. When I start hearing people discussing these things, and I feel like there's starting to be an understanding that comes over the people, and we all understand how we've been duped, how we've been taken, and to what degree, how far this country has fallen, okay? How different this country could look right now if JFK had gotten his way. Okay, it boggles my mind, and it's just so sad to me, and it's disconcerting, and this brings this sense of consternation I talk about, where I'm in a very unpleasant state. Okay, and I don't like it. It's something I really can live without, and I am determined to eventually someday live without, even if I don't see it in this life. I want to plan for it in the future. This world that God takes control over. And I'm an agent of God, as is anybody that says they're a friend of God. Anybody claims they're a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Buddhist or anybody that's just not an enemy of God, even if you're agnostic, which to me is arrogance, saying, well, prove it to me. I mean, what do we want? Do we need some figure larger than life to pop his head through the clouds, say, I am God, yes, I exist? So I mean, you see, God's way above that. Okay, talk about 4D chess. God's playing infinite D chess. I mean, he knows what he's doing. We don't want that in our right mind. We don't want an ogre of a God, breathing down our necks. We want him to be exactly like he is. And he knows that. And when we're in our right minds, we'll get that. Okay? But we need to start readying our hearts and our minds, for a world where we're going to be free. We're going to be completely free. Okay, and I haven't used Satan in the conversation today, but I mean the money thing and Satan go hand in hand, because Satan would have no power in this world, okay, without money. This has given him all the power. All these people that have prescribed to money through the ages, okay, whatever form of money it is. I'm not talking about going to a cashless society. I'm talking about the idea being vanished, banished, gone. The precept, the notion that we need money, okay, is erroneous, is fallacious, is wrong, and we need to get that. We don't need any form of money at all. That's the reality. It's just a way to have a one-up, power over somebody else. It was a scam. It was a scheme. It was fraudulent, and we've got to move away from money, caring about money, and just living the way God wants us to live, okay? And when that happens, society does not break down. And you cannot prove me wrong. There's never been a time in history, goes back thousands of years, when humanity has ever been able to be free from the money masters. We've always been beholden by this. And it's way worse than the barter deal, because with bartering, at least there's some sense to it. It makes people say, hey, well, if I can do that thing that they're doing, then I can have that same rate of exchange. So everybody starts doing it. There becomes an abundance of that thing, and so it cheapens the commodity, so it becomes less burden. As this is supply and demand, as we overproduce, which is what the inclination, especially in the day of technology that the industrialization, these state of the art and technology. I mean, it's incredible what we can do in terms of supply and demand. We can way oversupply, which we don't need to. But you understand that these people that have the control of the money, for this concentrated wealth, do you understand? It's like the evil, demonic creature, my pretty, and he turns all demonic. Hey, you know what I mean? I mean, you're like, who are you? I mean, but that's where they've taken us. That's all of us, okay? Because in each of us is all of us. And this is a collective consternation that we're facing here. And people think they can divorce themselves from other human beings. But you can't. God built a failsafe in you. You can kick and scream, and you don't have to like it, but that's the reality. This is this karmic tie we have, and it's inextricable. That's it. It's as you sow, so you reap. It's like the laws of physics. So it's scientific. What goes around comes around. What goes up must come down. Okay, for every action, there's an equal, though opposite reaction. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We're trying to find harmony. We're trying to find peace. We're trying to find contentment.